to Christabel snoring in a bed.
Okay. She will have an alarming dream where she's interrogating Flynn about whether he has another girlfriend.
Ooh, okay.
Man, you were just desperate to use that ability.
No.
Come on, he was only passable.
That's the joke.
Give me a fate roll, Christabel. Since you started this, I was just going to cut to what's his name? To Champ, scurrying around the floor.
Oh yeah. Well, I got a passable on my fate roll.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool.
If everything concerning Flynn involves passable always and ever, that's actually going to be enjoyed. I don't know if this was actually about Flynn or not, but it was.
This was is Flynn collateral damage in the battle in the
Oh shit!
So he lives
passively.
Passively, yeah.
But I meanwhile, Champ was.
I guess I'm glad. Yeah.
You can't account for what you dream about, I guess.
Let's talk about Champ. What is he?
Oh, what I was going to say is, if he's scurrying around looking for mouse poos, he's unlikely to find them in the immaculate rooms of the Elven house.
Do they have a bowl of fruit?
I'm sure.
Scented mushrooms. I was thinking bowls of spicy mushrooms.
Oh,
that's your nibbling for that.
I kind of like the idea that someone has been refreshing the bowl of scented mushrooms in Shining Star's bedroom, even though she's not been there for many years.
Yes, the potpourri is getting.
Cut to. We're not going to find out what's happening to possibly your other sister because no one is there. Cut to somewhere in the city as girl is pursuing the. What would be a good role to ask you to do that since you've been following them for now? Just give me a knowledge roll, Robbie.
Okay, and am I back in human form now?
You are in human form. I imagine this means you are also hiding in the shadows somewhere, given that I don't think you got any clothes on.
Right. All right, and knowledge.
We are that sort of a fantasy book one.
Not great. I got a poor result on the knowledge.
Oh, yes, you're following the tall, bearded elf through the city, heading northwest of the city. You've got a good sense of direction, I think, even as a human, so you can tell that. And in fact, he's heading towards one of the gates of the city. What would you like to do?
So this is one of the gates just leading out of the city in the northwest quadrant. Is that?
Yes, in fact, what would be a good roll to make? Give me an alertness roll. It's not really the right one. I'm just trying to think what would be a good thing to decide whether you get a sense of what the other side, where the gate goes.
I got a great.
Okay, cool. You can sense the pleasing and nice aromas of the woodlands just beyond the gate and the rolling hills. And it's definitely this area has a little bit of a different feel to Smith City, with otherwise it's big foundries and factories and workshops and things like that. But this gate particularly goes out to a much nicer, more rural area. And he's heading, as I say, heading towards the gate. Still running, looking behind him, but unaware of your presence at the moment.
Yeah, I think at this point, Girl will just kind of, note the gate and will, at this point, turn around to go back to the workshop.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Sensible.
Mod thread the other outlaws back there.
And give me a directions roll to see if you can retrace your steps. That seems like it would be sensible.
See, direction is under nature. Yes.
I maybe bend in which direction there.
I got good. Just good.
Okay. that sounds like it's enough to retrace your steps.
Okay.
So yes, cool. 20 minutes later, maybe you're back at the workshop. Do you want to just go in, see what's happening, or are you looking for shouting out or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I left with a distinct sense that the outlaws had the clear upper hand on the encounter. People were running away. Some had, been dropped. So, yeah, I think that girl walks in and kind of surveys the situation. I mean, she will be looking for whoever has her clothes, but I mean, she's she's also kind of I think very at this point also just kind of very interested in what she can see of where is Modthrith, what has happened to the person who Modthrith had the knife to. Yeah.
Cool. So, you can go in. What you can see is the general mess of a pitched battle having been fought. So there's tables overturned, all over the place. Blood stains on the floor. A pile over to one side of dead elves. And slightly less piled up, just two of the outlaws who are also unfortunately dead. You will need to give me and you can get dressed. One of the wolflings who's not dead hands you your pile of clothes. The elf who was being threatened has been tied up and put in a corner next to the equally tied up dwarf. And they have gags in their mouths and what's the word? Efficiently restrained, because outlaws are good at that sort of thing. And Modthrith and Flynn are looking in this big crate that they have over one side of the room, which even from here you can smell has the hydrochief in it. Therefore quite pungent. Do you want to go and talk to anyone, to your mum or anything, or do you want to? I'm going to ask leading questions, even though I don't have any leading questions.
I think girl once she's dressed, I think she will walk over to that dwarf and that elf and kind of survey them.
Cool. Give me a. I don't have a good roll for how to do the smell. But give me a. Probably just gonna be an alertness roll, I think, just to get a look at them and a general impression.
65. I have an alertness of 18, so that'll
nail it.
That'll give me a great result.
Cool. So, the dwarf. He looks like a dwarf. I don't know how much contact the other has had with them. He has all the hallmarks of someone who works with his hands, his little scars on his fingers and things like that, from using tools and making things all day. Big ginger beard, and he's not happy. He looks quite bruised and battered from battle. The elf, with that roll, you can detect, possibly sense, but certainly see a family resemblance to Shining Star. This elf is slightly taller than she is, but about the same sort of build, same colour hair, but a lot nicer condition and much better, more finely dressed, more elfy and ethereal looking if she hadn't been tied up and it looks like possibly hit a few times when she's been tied up.
I think,
but you are pretty sure that she is a relative of Shining Star's. Shining Star, had you mentioned that you had sisters specifically previously to girl?
We'd have to check the recordings. I know I've mouthed off about it once or twice, but I don't know if it was specifically in girls' presence. Having done things like wash each other's hair and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fate roll?
Fate roll seems possible, maybe?
Yeah. Like, I'm not necessarily, well, I don't know. Relative, sister specifically, I don't know if it's that important, but yeah, go for a fate roll.
Nice roll, though. Rock and roll. Nice suggestion, Rod. I'm all for it. Got a 98, so I think I may have got a check on my fate, which has an 11. So, yeah, that's a nice, awesome result right there. I think that the chance of me having said precisely the right thing at some point is highly likely, and I get to check my fate, which is a fine thing to be checking.
Cool. In that case, I'm going to suggest that what you remember is when Shining Star did indeed mention her sisters and compared the two, the younger one who is shorter and a bit stouter, but also Pure Fire, her elder sister, who she used to borrow clothes off, and maybe this came up when you were looking for trying to around and failing to find anything that vaguely fit.
Since the roll was so good, maybe she also clarified that she's not a friend of her sister, or is that? Am I getting the reason?
Well, I would certainly say that. I mean, it was. I can tell you this, especially if I had been talking about clothes and why I was running around in such basic clothes, was that I had got a one-time stipend for from my sisters upon getting out of prison, which is where my family background money came from, given the story, because basically it was a one-time thing and they don't want to have anything to do with me. I'm done as far as the Starry Night family was concerned.
Right.
So therefore, I'm sure that I might have said something along those lines.
Okay. Robbie, can I have a fate roll from you as well?
Okay. Mine will not be quite as good. I see. So, it's an inferior result that I got.
Okay. Cool. That's fine. So yes, you're talking to. You're looking at these the captives, and at that point, someone new arrives in the building. He is. You can kind of tell by looking at him because you know these sort of things. He's also a wolfling. He's wearing quite kind of dark blue robes. It's not normal for thing. He's shaven-headed or bald, quite sort of snarly looking, doesn't very friendly. And he's walking over to talk to Modra.
You said he's a wolfling.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can kind of tell from those. They all look a little bit wolfy in the face, and you can kind of sense each other, right?
I'm kind of torn. I think, Girl, at least for a moment, is going to stoop down in front of the elf and quietly whisper, "Do you know Shining Star?"
Okay. Give me a sincerity roll to see how she responds to. Yeah. Does she trust that you, having been here attacking them, are a good person to tell either way?
Right. Not my best quality, sincerity. Not too bad of a roll. Let's see. So, I got a poor result.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty good for me on the sincerity side of things.
She looks terrified that yet more of these people are. She's kind of carrying away because, like I said, she's probably been hit already. So I don't think she's not giving much away. You might have to try a different tack with her, perhaps, because it doesn't. She's kind of taking her eyes away, not making eye contact, and trying to look as unthreatening as possible, but not acknowledging the question.
Okay. I think with that reaction, I think girl will kind of turn. She's not going anywhere, so girl will turn and go to Modthrith. And I think at least initially, I mean, girl wants to pass on the information of where that bearded elf went.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also kind of intrigued as to who this other wolfling is that has appeared. So she'll kind of slowly approach and try to get a sense of what their discussion is about.
Cool. I have to do a tiny retcon, which is his robes are green, not blue, by the way.
Okay.
My attempt to be faithful to the setting is probably a good waste of time. But yes. So you want to get a sense of what he's like, what he's up to. He's
what the gist of their conversation is about.
Okay, so they're kind of having a hushed conversation. So give me a listen roll.
Okay. I remember last time my listen rolls did not turn out very well. All right, and listen is here it is.
You're actually not bad at it either.
No, I'm pretty good. This one will be okay. I got a great result on this one.
Cool. Okay, you can hear their hushed conversation. He's saying that the frontal attack was reckless, but it's a good thing that they've succeeded in the nomads from getting these what's he called them? He calls them teeth of terror. Because he's pretentious like that. And you clearly get a sense that Modthrith refers to this person. As much as you can see her sort of bristling at the criticism of her tactics. And they're discussing how best to get these somewhere safe and somewhere where they can't be used by anybody against the hill folk or against monstrous people. And then he's saying, yeah, of course, we've got to get them somewhere where we can keep them safe or where we can use them to our advantage. And maybe that's a good point for Modthrith to see you're there and say, Adolfo. It's been a strange day, and I have my daughter has returned to me. And he's like, another wolfling, and I'm sure a follower of the ever-changing one.
Girl, hearing Modthrith acknowledge that her daughter has returned to her, I mean, girl smiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of makes direct eye contact with Modthrith, and turns to, you said Adolfo, right?
Adolfo, yes.
Turns to Adolfo and says, and I have, I followed the bearded elf who escaped, and know where he went, or at least know part of the way where he went.
And you can see him looking like it's very obvious that Modthrith hadn't mentioned anybody escaped.
Oh,
so he's not looking.
You're knocking down the achievement level here.
Yes.
I'm sure it was just she would have got around to that shortly. He's only just arrived after all. So and Montra says we should pursue him and track him down.
He's going.
Where did you?
He went to the northwest gate.
And Flynn pipes up that that's where the elves all have their houses outside the city. Apparently, it's not good enough for them. Although they're happy to hang out in, drive up the prices of drinking things in the city itself.
Lazy bastards taking our jobs.
Anyway, no, so it looks like Modric is about to start chipping people along to do things. If you want to tell her or say, or anything you want to do, or
yeah, I think it is. Is there only one elf still alive? I mean, we have the elf and the dwarf, and are all the rest have either fled or are?
All the rest are. There's only the one elf still alive. All the rest are who are all armored and with swords have all been summarily dispatched. Several of them have arrows sticking out of them. It doesn't look like just to give you the information. It doesn't look like any of them were taken alive and then killed. They were killed as part of it in battle. From what you remember of the fights, they were all